Welcome to the video on session 4 of the novel The Edible Woman. In this session, I'm going to discuss about chapter 6 and 7. The next morning, Saturday, Marian gets up after startled by a dream in which she sees herself dissolving or melting like a jelly. She goes to the mirror to see what happened to her legs and gets up and prepares for the day of interviewing. Ainsley was still asleep, so she prepares herself a boiled egg and drank tomato juice and coffee. She dresses herself in a dress that is suitable for the interviewing, an official looking skirt, a blouse with full sleeves, and a pair of low heeled walking shoes. She wanted to go early, but later she decides that as it is holiday, it is better to go after few minutes. Marian needed 7 or 8 persons with minimum average beer consumption per week. As it is a holiday and long leave due to Labor Day, it is difficult for her than usual to get men for interviewing. She thinks that women are more willing to fill and answer the questionnaire than men, but she has no option but to interview men. She cannot do that in her area as lady down below may come to know about it. The people in certain areas are hostile to this as they think that these people are government officials in disguise trying to raise their tax. So she thinks that the fraternity houses near the university are the better place for the interviewing. But she has to question people about certain age limit. Those seems like mediocre one where she goes. After some time, a woman opens the door when Marian rings the calling bell. Marian tells her that she is from Seymour Survey Company and doing a survey and her husband has to answer few questions to improve products. The woman taking Marian for a sales girl asks her whether she is selling something but gets reply in negative. The woman then asks what the product she is talking about. Marian hesitates to tell what is the product she is talking about, but she has to tell it that it is about beer. When she heard the word beer, her face expression changes but invites her inside. After a while, a large man comes out and tells Marian to fear God to do such a thing. Wine is forbidden in Christianity and most of the religions, and doing so is a sin. Doing any kind of activity relating to wine is sin. Marian comes out of the house disappointed as if coming out of a church. She thinks it is a bad beginning. Marian goes to next house. A small child opens the door and tells his dad is still in the bed. After a few minutes, a short but strongly built man comes. He selects the number 9, which means he drinks more beer. She thinks nobody chooses the number 10 as most of them think that there are other people who drink more beer than them. She has to take the address of the interviewed in order not to repeat the same people again and also their answers to the questions. She completes 4 more interviews without much incident and she is happy for that. When she knocks the door of the next house, a young man opens the door, rubbing his eyes. She thinks he may be around 15 years old. He was looking at her constantly. By thinking he is a small boy, Marian asks whether his father inside. He says no because he is dead. When Marian asks him about his age, he says he is 26 years old. Marian then tells him about the purpose she has come. He invites her inside the house. It was a small house with a hall, kitchen, and bedroom. There were three chairs in the hall of different colors. When Marian asks him for permission to sit down in one of them, he says one chair belongs to his friend who does not want anybody to sit on his chair, so she cannot sit on it. She cannot sit on another chair because there are papers of another friend which may be disorganized if she sits. Marian thinks, how could that be, but does not say. She could not sit on his chair because there are objects on it. He suggests they have to sit either in the kitchen or in the bedroom. Marian does not want to sit in the bedroom, therefore, she looks at the kitchen, which was small and also stinking. So she has no other option but to sit in the bedroom out of necessity. He chooses number 6 as it was his favorite number. After half of the interview was over, he tells her that he does not drink beer but scotch. Marian asks him, then why did he choose 6? He says he chose because it was his lucky number and he also changed his house number from 1 to 6. At that time, his friends arrive and ask him whether he would drink beer. They ask her it was the job of a middle aged woman or a housewife. Why did she choose it? Marian says that she has to do it because she has to live, and after a degree of BA, she has no other option but to do it. Chapter 7 Analysis. Marian technically 1.5 interviews short, but she had necessary report and the questionnaire changes. Besides, she wanted to take bath before going to Peter's place. When she goes back to the apartment, Marian was not. Ainsley was not there. She takes all the necessary things to take bath and went to upstairs as they had no bathroom in their apartment. That's why the rent is low in that area. Sometime Ainsley left her cleanser and deodorants and brushes and sponges in the conspicuous places, and Marian has to bring it back and clean the bathroom. She wanted to soak for a while, but the lady down comes there, hence she has to take bath quickly. Peter was living in an apartment under construction. That's why the rent is low. Nobody lives there except Peter. The people who work there does not know that somebody lives there. When she goes inside the house, she was taking bath. He was taking bath, and a splash of water indicated that she was waiting for him to come out. He comes out with water dripping from his body. There is not much furniture in the house. Peter wanted to buy only a few good quality articles which are necessary for him and not pile up things which are not useful for him and her. After that, they spent some private time in the bathroom. As I said in the last session, Atwood says she is not a feminist, but there are clear indications that she is speaking about feminism. In this regard, the new criticism helps us to decide whether to believe the writer or the text. New criticism was a formalist movement in literary theory that dominated American literary criticism in the middle decades of 20th century. It emphasized close reading, particularly of poetry, to discover how a work of literature functions as a self-contained, self-referential aesthetic object. The movement derived its name from Jan Crow Ransom's 1941 book, The New Criticism. Close reading was a staple of French literary studies, but in the United States, aesthetic concerns and the study of modern poets were the province of non academic essayists and the book reviewers rather than serious scholars. The new criticism changed this. Though their interest in textual study initially met with resistance, but older scholars, the methods of new critics rapidly predominated in American universities until challenged by feminism and structuralism in the 70s. Other schools of literary and critical theory, including post structuralism and deconstructionist theory and new historicism and reception studies, followed. So, we have to concentrate on the text more rather than the what the author says, because as Ronald Barthes said, when the writer writes the last sentence and puts a full stop, he dies at the cost of the birth of the readers. Thank you.